Day 120. There's an intro to a music album, one of my favorite albums of all time, and there's a poem to start the album. And one of the lines in that poem, it says, I love this. It says, "Excess never leads to better things. It only piles and piles atop the things that are already abundantly in front of you." Excess never leads to better things. It piles and piles atop of the things that are already abundantly in front of you. What that makes me think about is the best things in life are things that are free. The things that come to us naturally. And he goes on to list some things. And some of the things he lists are just like breathing and laughing and slow dancing and laughing, and like it's real, just connecting with humans, the experiences that we get to see, the beauty of birth. I've been able to see my children being born. Like, it's special. And when you're able to have real life experiences, and they're not always going to be great. Like, there's some very heartbreaking experiences that there's also beauty in within that human experience. Like, at one point he talks about he's seen death and birth, and he's been with a good woman. Like, and it's a blessing to be able to feel deeply and to be connected to things, and to know that it doesn't all end here. That's the most special part, right? Is that there's salvation beyond the finite amount of time that we have on this earth. But back to the excess part, it's like the excess, we all chase, at least a lot of people chase the almighty dollar. And I've gotten out of at least the mindset of that rat race. You know, you want security, you want to be able to protect your family, you want to be able to meet the Maslow hierarchy of needs of putting a roof over your head and having clean water to drink. But there gets to a point where what really is enough? And I just try to remind myself, like, have you had a good day today? Do you feel blessed today? Or are you more worried about how many commas are in your bank account? And that's real. Like, we can chase money. I've been driven by money in the past. We can chase possessions, cars and brands, and I want to live a more simplistic life than chasing a dollar or chasing a possession. Like, do my kids feel joy? Do I feel joy? When I go to sleep at night, am I at peace with what I did that day? Do I feel truly that I've had integrity for that day? And then looking ahead to the following day, am I dreading it? Or do I view that day as just a beautiful opportunity to live another day on this earth that God's given me? And that's real. Like, I used to hear people say, like, oh, yeah, it's poor people that say that money doesn't matter. It's like, no. Like, that used to be a thing. I think it was in like a rap song growing up, something to that effect. No, it's real, man. I've been on both sides of, and like Paul's written about this in the Bible, like I've lived with plenty. I've also lived in college dead broke before I got a good job. And it's like, it doesn't matter, again, possessions or commas, if you're not at peace with yourself, at peace with your mind, your body, and your spirit. And to truly just like genuinely feel good, and not to live with the anxiety of not taking care of yourself, not eating well, not sleeping enough, mentally being off. Like, to not have to live with that and live by the grace of God with a yoke that's easy and a burden that's light, like, that is invaluable. And if you haven't lived that way and you strive to, like, contact me. Be more than happy and willing to have conversation with someone to further expand on these topics. But excess never leads to better things. It just piles on top of the things that are already right in front of your face, that are free and that are gifts and that are more valuable than a possession or a dollar. Psalm chapter 51, verses 10 through 13 says, "Create in me a pure heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me. Do not cast me from your presence or take your Holy Spirit from me. Restore to me the joy of your salvation and grant me a willing spirit to sustain me. Then I will teach transgressors your ways so that sinners will turn back to you. Whew. I could go line by line breaking that down. But like, are we really asking God that? Like, do we care? I strive to make that more important than I ever have in the past. And there's been seasons where I haven't focused on the pure heart aspect of this, but just like truly asking God and making it a priority to ask him to create in me a pure heart, that I am no longer the sins of my past. I'm not defined by that. And just truly asking him to renew that steadfast spirit. And then as it goes on to say in verse 12, a couple verses later, like, restore in me the joy of your salvation and grant me a willing spirit to sustain me. I've had many videos in the past talking about how like we can have flash in the pan type days where we want to go all in for our mind or our body or our relationship with God or reading the Bible or influencing people, but it can be very much flash in the pan. I think I did a video, it was like a baseball quote, but it's like, I think it was Ted Williams or Ty Cobb said back in the day, it's really easy to be good for one day, but what's really difficult is to be good over a long period of time. And again, it's not that we're perfect and we're not close to that, we're sinners, but are we just striving to do good work, and to be good to ourselves and to be a good friend and to take care of ourselves? Are we striving to do those things in a sustainable fashion? And we just need to ask God to really create that willing and steadfast spirit within us. Like I always ask God, like, hey, please help me want your will over my own will. Like, I know your will is more important and your will prevail, but please help me to not only be okay with that, but to yearn for that. Like, it says the verse before that in verse 11, don't cast me from your presence or take the Holy Spirit. Like, Lord, just help me feel you, help me see you, help me have eyes to see, ears to hear you for the opportunities in my life and for the days that are not good, that I'm just struggling. Lord, please help me see and feel you and sustain the spirit that I have. I know the spirit is willing. It goes on to talk about in Romans, I believe it is, like the spirit is always willing, but the flesh is weak. And sometimes my flesh, like my mind, I'm just frustrated or angry, or my body, I'm tired, or like I sense some OCD or anxiety ticking up at times, and it's like the mind can tell you to quit or just, hey, you can't do this anymore, or to shut it down. But I want to listen to my spirit because I know it's willing. I know I'm a child of God. I know, as Paul has written, it's like I know there's sin that lives within me, but Lord, help me to trust you more than the sinful nature of my human mind. That's what I got today. But just as you're walking through your life, and more specifically, like through this season of life, if you ever feel the tendency to want to chase something of this world, whether it's a possession or a dollar, whatever it is, just know that very well might make you happy, humanly happy in this season of life, but it will not lead to sustainable joy if you wrap up your identity in chasing things of this world like possessions or money. Excess always leads to things that are not as good as the things that we have in this life that are free. Again, excess never leads to better things. It only piles and piles on top of the things that are abundantly in front of you. Day 120.